Hey, welcome back. This is Clay Nelson, the Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour. And on our last segment, I was kind of lowering the boom on everybody, saying, hey, we got to calm down. We got to quit looking to make someone wrong so we can be right about being poor. And the truth is, we're not poor. The truth is, we got to sit this out. We can't panic. You don't want to make a run on a bank. You don't want to, pull all your 401k money out. Do not do that. Sit this puppy out. All right? It's going to turn. It will work. Americans are good people. There is a way out, and it takes time to let it settle out and get going what's going on. Now, got it. There's got to be some accountability, and there's got to be some regulations. Make sure somebody's not peeling off the top. In the news, it said something about AIG going out and having this giant $400,000 party after they just got this loan package to save their tokens. And the truth is, I'd be willing to bet that that's some deal that got put together a year ago for their sales staff, where their sales staff did one heck of a good job last year. Now, granted, they probably should have shut it down. There's no question that the timing is wrong, that the press picked it up as wrong and everything else. But I'd be willing to bet there's some other story going on about that particular expenditure that we, the public, don't know about. And it was written in a way to make AIG all wrong. Well, okay. How many of you have done some wrong things in your life or just had bad timing? So think about that. It's like John F. Kennedy wrote, when we have power to make the best generation of mankind in the history of the world, it's to make it last as long as we can. All right? Anonymous. Ooh, here's Mr. Anonymous. Accountability, the mother of caution. Think about that. Now, I take very seriously my responsibility as a citizen of our great country to be educated on and to vote on the best person for the job. And the job of the president, a state senator, a representative, and any other state and local leadership positions. I mean, how many of you out there actually know what's going on and actually watched the debate last night and actually formed an opinion? And I got to tell you, I watched the debate last night. I don't have a better opinion. I don't know who I want to have be the president of the United States for the next 4 years, much less the next 8 years, and I'm 64 years old. I am at the peak of my responsibility in America. There is so much going on here. There's so much media attention. There is so much bad mouthing and bad talking and misrepresentations, and you name it. How does the normal good old guy on the street figure out what's true and what's not true? So it's all talk. We've all heard it before, all right? It's like, when are they going to start walking their talk? You understand? When are they going to start doing what they say they're going to do? How do we know that what's being said by both candidates aren't just what it takes to get in the office, and then what happens? Then you have to deal with all the people that are in their offices. Then you have to deal with the power brokers. So how do we get around this? What do we have to do? All right? Accountability examples, like on that first caller I had, it's like, what's the difference between holding someone accountable and being responsible? One is the commitment. The other is the action. So you got to be committed to be responsible and then hold people accountable, because that's your commitment. Accountable for what? For doing what's right. Right? If you're going to just be passive and sit back and let the world run itself and you just get your paycheck and buy a bass boat and go fishing, you don't have much of a say, do you? So how many of you actually get involved in city council work? How do you actually get involved in the county work? How do you actually get involved in a state representative race? How many of you actually get out there and actually understand what's going on, what to vote for, and who to have represent you? I mean, this is a serious game now. Now it's hit us in the pocketbook. All right, now everybody's coming alive because it might cost us money. And we, the taxpayer, have to expend some money, a lot of money, to bail ourselves out of, quite frankly, a bad deal that we got involved in over a period of 8 to 12 years. And if anybody was listening, this has been talked about for probably 9 of those years, and nobody listened. All right, accountability. Google says accountability is that you'll see more than 39 million results for the word accountability. All right. The following are some examples of groups that exist specifically to hold our government leaders and corporations accountable. You ready? The U.S. Government Accountability Office. Ha! Government Accountability Project. Alliance of Nuclear Accountability. Oh, here's a good one. Congressional Accountability Project. What exactly are they being held accountable to do in that project? The Center for Justice and Accountability. the Center for Political Accountability, Citizens for Judicial Accountability. Oh, here's a good one. This is even better. Oil and Gas Accountability Project, Corporate Accountability International, Center for Tax and Budget Accountability. Gee, I wonder what they've been doing. And after reading the page after page after page of results with all kinds of listings of similar to these, it's kind of left wondering if we as citizens, all of us, took more active part in holding our leaders accountable and not just in an election year, how more effective could we be? If we participated in the world instead of the world just letting the world do what it does in our own little silent world, we do what we do, separate and apart from the rest of the world. If we'd stop doing that and stand up and say, hey, what are you doing? Why is that bridge going there? How come those steps aren't to code? What's going on? I don't want the buildings to be that high, but actually getting out and do something about it. Quit, complain, and get into action. Hold yourself accountable for being in action, doing what you believe in. You don't have to be right. Just get into action with what you believe. We leave the oversight of our leaders up to others and then complain when things aren't going the way we want them to. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. As an example, if you were and were firmly against Wall Street, the Wall Street bailout that Congress recently passed, did you take the time to call your congressional leader and say, hey, what are you doing? This is not cool. I don't like it. I don't want my money spent that way. Do something about it. You represent me. How many of you out there had the thought but didn't do it? And respectfully, how many out there had the thought and did do it? Think about it. A lot of people have the best of intentions, but they sit inside their brain. They don't get off their tokas and take action, find out the number and dial it and say what they need to say, or find out the email address and send an email that says, this is how I feel, Mr. Representative or Miss Representative. You have to get back into the world now. It's like our biggest complaint now, because, the United States is getting to be a land of white hairs. It's all about medical bills. All about how much money we're going to have to retire, all about the end of our lives. What about the lives we're responsible for that are coming up? It's called our kids and our grandkids. If we don't stand up now and fight for what's right, what are our kids going to think of us, and what are our kids going to do with what we leave them? So we got to wake up, ladies and gentlemen, and we got to quit making people wrong. Now, we got a mess. There's no question, all right? There's no question we got a mess. Right? And there's no question we're in a war that's costing us more money than we should be in. I got that. And I'm not the political genre. I'm not the guy that can figure all that out. I'm real clear. But I do have representatives that I believe in, and hopefully they're going to figure it out. And I'm going to support them in what I think they should do. I'm also going to call them up and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't like what you're doing. And I want them to know who I am. I want them to know my name. If they want to call and talk to me, here's my number. So you got to be able to stand up and say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and here's what I'm willing to do about it. Okay? That's the name of this game. It's really a hard place to be right now because we've been in a place for the last probably 15 to 20 years where we've been pretty safe. We've been thinking, boy, I'm just fine. All I have to do is just pay my house payments, or I just have to stay healthy, raise the kids, and everything's going to be just great. And then all of a sudden the world starts changing, and I mean changing at a pace that is phenomenal. So fast that the information on one side of the planet is almost instantaneously known on the other side of the planet. So fast that technology can't even keep up with it. And we're deluged with everybody's opinions, political opinions, lobbyist opinions. Our opinions are trying to be changed by the opinion changers. So we lose face with who we are. We lose absolutely understanding, remember that we have a vote and our vote counts. What are you willing to vote for? What do you believe in? Sit down, ask the questions, figure it out. All right, I got to take a break now. This is Clay Nelson Light Balance Hour on KZSB AM 1290. When you get back, we're going to talk about some ways to sit down and how to figure some things out. So let's get it on.